to my network. Today I'm joined by Daniel Latsinos. He's the team leader of the underwriting department at ProtectSure. He specializes in two products, equipment and public and product liability. He's a massive fan of sports and has a passion for soccer.
Hi, Deanna. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here today.
No problem. Let's get started. So, Daniel, if you could talk to yourself as a young grad in the industry, what advice would you give yourself knowing what you know now?
Yeah, great question. Look, I think my experience may be a little bit different to a lot of the people you may get in to do these little sessions with. I've only been in insurance for a handful of years, two and a bit. So when I look back at what I was doing when I was, much younger, the advice I definitely give myself would be, stay the course and trust what you're doing. A lot of the time I find myself second guessing or questioning where the path is leading. And a lot of the time you find out that it all happens for a reason. So the advice I'd give myself without question would be to, trust where it's all going, do your best, stay committed and stay focused, because ultimately it's going to lead to the right place.
Yeah, perfect. That's great advice. And by just trusting the process, you do end up in the right place and everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at where I was, 4 or 5 years ago compared to where I am now, chalk and cheese. So, and I'm really happy with where I am now. I've got a great career going and, it's all heading up.
Great. And what has been the greatest achievement in your career?
Yeah, so I think it actually happened in this role, to be honest. I started off as a customer service officer with ProtectSure, which is a great environment to start in. Coming from zero insurance experience, it really gave me a great platform to, learn the ins and outs of not only insurance as an industry, but also ProtectSure as a company. I think my greatest accomplishment would be heading into the team leader role that I'm in now. It took hard work. It took a lot of external learning and following the development pathways that ProtectSure did set up for me. And I think that's probably my greatest achievement, being able to lead others who either do or do not have insurance experience, and just letting them know that, it may seem hard. It may seem at times like you're going, running uphill, but stay the course as well, and you too will find success.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And you're a great role model, Daniel, and lead a really great team.
You? Nice of you to say.
No problem. And definitely that customer service officer position in ProtectSure is a great place to start. And I can definitely attest that it's a great place to, learn and gain industry knowledge.
Yeah.
And great to see that you have a fantastic team under you as well.
Yeah, look, I think you touched on it. I think it's an excellent place to start. We don't demand too much in terms of experience. What we do look for is a right cultural fit, of course, but also someone who's committed, someone who's willing to learn, and someone who wants to learn. And if that's you, well, come find ProtectSure.
Perfect. And what do you think is the most important skill for a successful underwriting professional?
And again, another great question. I think a lot of the time it's commitment. Sometimes it's not always glamorous. Sometimes you're doing things you don't necessarily want to do or you find a bit tedious. But I think it is in those moments where you do hone your craft and really do excel in what it is you're looking to achieve in the underwriting space. I think you couple that with critical thinking and you're definitely got a recipe there for a great underwriter. It's what we do at ProtectSure. I know I've touched on it before, but what we do is we try to combine the two, commitment and critical thinking. I think the combination is certainly something that you will need to be successful. And if you can master that, if you can put it all together and you can take the time to learn and grow and develop under the right people, I think that's the only thing you really do need to be successful in the underwriting space.
That's some great advice. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Daniel, what are your top tips for juniors or insurance professionals that are looking to transition into an underwriting role?
Yeah, well, that's sort of the role I'm in at the moment now, in the team leader role at ProtectSure. So my top tips would be, again, commitment. I think it's so crucial. If you're going to be successful, if you're going to go in the right direction, and if you're going to learn, the only way to do it is to be as committed as you possibly can. And it can get technical, it can get difficult, and at times it can feel really hard, particularly if you're coming across from no insurance experience or transitioning into the underwriting field. But I think that the key is to just stay committed, understand that it's all a process and it takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to be a technical wizard overnight.
Yeah.
learn what you need to and draw what you need to from those who are, there to teach, there to impart their wisdom onto yourself. And, if you work in the industry long enough, you'll know there's a lot of knowledge out there, a lot of great people, a lot of people who are willing to share that knowledge and are willing to develop you personally and also within the industry. So stay committed, stay the course, and draw as much knowledge as you can. That would be probably the best bit of advice I can give a junior coming through. Just take what you can and give back when you can.
Perfect. Knowledge is definitely power, and I think that can translate across any industry. And to work in a business where there's an industry mentor and somebody who can guide you is absolutely fantastic. So these tips are really great for people who are looking to transition and for any juniors who are looking to enter the underwriting sector.
And I think you're right there, because I don't know too many people who set out to have a career in insurance. I know I certainly fell into it, but I drew across many skills that I got from previous work, in whether it be retail or hospitality, that are very transferable over to the underwriting space and the insurance space, depending on where you want to go. So it's certainly open for everyone and everyone.
Perfect. And what do you think is the most important emerging skill that insurance professionals will need in the next 10 years?
Geez, that's another great question, Deanna. Emerging skill. So when I think of people coming through at the moment, I see there's a little bit of a balance shift happening in terms of what the company needs and what people are looking for. If I'm looking at what would be an emerging skill, I think it's more of the same. I think if it's a recipe that doesn't need to be messed with. You do have people come in who may draw experience from, like I said, retail or customer service or whatever it is. But if you can commit yourself to the role and take the learnings that you have, couple them with what's being taught, I think that's the only thing that can lead to success. Certainly is the case in my life. I think everything is transferable. There's not a lesson I've been taught that I couldn't transfer across. For people coming in the next 10 years, I think if you just take what you know and adapt that into the teachings of an underwriting world, an underwriting department, or that field in general, I think you'll see success. You'll see what you want to see. Everyone sets out to be successful. I think at the center of all things is commitment and perseverance. So insurance is one of those weird things where you can go anywhere. You can go into the underwriting side of things. You can head off into claims. You can go into a BDM role. It really can tailor to your natural personality. So I think if you're putting in 100% and you're committed to your role and you're committed to your task, it'll give back. And it'll give back to you in a way that you probably might not see coming, but a successful way nonetheless. So I think staying the course, staying committed, being with yourself, knowing what you like, knowing what you want to achieve, that would be what I believe to be an emerging skill. Sometimes lost, sometimes things get in the way, external factors, personal life and things like that, but stay committed and you'll see success.
Perfect. I definitely agree with that. Having a career as an athlete, I had to bring many transferable skills first into the insurance industry, starting in an underwriting role, and now into my recruitment career as well. So definitely agree with that and think that it's really good advice that you're giving to the industry. So Daniel, thank you so much for your time, and to my network, stay tuned for the next video.